witches, blessed be. This is White Raven over here. Today's Monday, so happy Magic Monday to all of you guys. Witches, oh wow, it's been about 2 months since I've been in and out of this channel. For sure, the entire month of September, I was completely out of here. I tried to communicate with you guys as much as I could. I want to say thank you very much for all the support and all the love that I received from you guys throughout this month. I was very conflicted about doing this video very long and talk to you a little bit about what I was doing last month in the month of August. Some of you guys know that my father passed away, so I was in Puerto Rico dealing with family matters. And I want to talk to you guys about death. Maybe some of you guys have read my blog and my website, White Raven and Witches Slayer, and I wanted to talk a little bit about that. So maybe I'm going to take the time to talk to you guys about Puerto Rico, what I think about death, and some of the things that I got in Puerto Rico while I was there. But for now, if you're new to this channel, I welcome you. My name is White Raven, and I'm here to teach you everything about witchcraft. If you want to be a witch, what it is to be a witch, spells, concoctions, and a little bit of history and information in regards to things that you have heard all your life, but you don't know where they're coming from. We're going to talk today about Samhain. Halloween. What is that? What is this day? What does it represent? How old is this day? Well, let me tell you guys, and please remember that I'm going to list in the description of the video the books that I got for the information on this video. So it's my resource. But right now, I'm going to be talking about the Witch's Bible, which is one of the books that I love the most. And I recommend for you guys to have it as a book of reference. It's a little bit of an old book, but it's a great book for you to have. And I got a lot of my information from this book and also from the amazing book of Ronald Hutton, The Stations of the Sun. Okay, Ronald is amazing. Another book that I'm going to be using today, guys, is a book that some of you guys already asked me to make some spells from this book, and I haven't. It's Super Micro Magic by Michael Fury. This is a great book to have as well. So I'm going to be talking about Samhain all this month, and I'm going to start today with this little powder that I want to share with you guys the recipe so you guys can make and you can charge it so you can use it on the 31st of October. Let's get into this. Samhain is when the Celtic winters begin. All those really frigid months coming ahead are starting on the 31st of October. The Celts used to get together. Celts used to live in tribes. They used to get together, and on this day, they will slaughter all the livestock that they were not going to use for the purpose of procreation. They will kill them, they will slaughter them, and they will salt them to make sure they had enough food for the brutal cold winter months coming ahead. Also on this day was the last day for the Celts to gather their crops, because anything left after the 31st of October, it was said that the puka, a shape-shifting spirit, will come and completely damage anything that was left. So they were not supposed to touch any crops after the 31st of October. Now, the 31st of October was a very mystical time. It was a time that did not belong neither to the past or the future. It didn't belong to the spiritual world or to the mundane world. It was a threshold. And it was said that on the night of the 31st, the doors of the mounds of the fairy in Ireland will open. And the veil between the world of the living and the world of the spirit will be very thin. And it was said that in that night, the deceased family, will come back to visit their homes, looking for the warmth of the fire and maybe some food. So it was really important to have that dumb supper on the night of Samhain. There was celebrations because it will make a really big feast. Back in that time, people used to live in tribes, so there was a big feast that involved the entire tribe. They will share with each other their crops, they will feast, and they will celebrate. Now, this night was also filled with a lot of spirituality. So the night of Samhain was a night for communion for the Celts with their gods, celebration, and also for divination. There was a lot of divination done on the Halloween night of the 31st of October, which, as a matter of fact, guys, is something that I do every 31st of October. I sit down with my dumb supper and I actually do a spread, a tarot reading for the entire year, because it said that the 1st of November was indeed the New Year's for the Celt. The same way they slaughter a lot of the livestock, history speaks about human sacrifices. I'm going to leave that to your imagination. I can tell you that I truly believe that sacrifices at one point, at least in the Druids, was a reality. Now, they used to say that they used to incarcerate criminals and leave them for that night, and they will sacrifice them on that night by fire. There is also another legend about the Nordic people in which kings and heroes of war will voluntarily sacrifice themselves on the night of Samhain in order to appease some of the gods. Witches. Samhain is a very ancient celebration. It's been ingrained in people's lives and in people's culture for hundreds of years. So needless to say, it has evolved from day one until what we know today. So there's many things that have changed throughout the life of Samhain. I invite you guys to do your own research because it's fascinating. And I think one of the best resources that you're going to find on the history of Samhain is by Ronald Hutton. You can look all you want in Wikipedia and Google, but I tell you, I truly trust Ronald Hutton. He's a historian. I have talked to you guys about him many times, and he goes to the grain of everything. So what I'm trying to say with this is that there's a lot to say about the day of Samhain, not necessarily what I'm saying in here today, but there's a lot of very rich information behind these amazing mystical holidays. It was so ingrained in people's life, so much so that the Catholic people needed to take that day for themselves. So on the 1st of November, Pope Gregory IV in the year 834 dictate November 1st to be the Day of the Dead. Now, the tones of paganism in the day behind that day was so strong that the church felt very uncomfortable celebrating the Day of the Dead of November 1st. So much so that in England, the Reformation abolished and banned that day. And it wasn't, guys, and listen to this because this is incredible. This was year 834. And it wasn't until the year 1928, guys. That's less than 100 years ago, that the day was reestablished again in the Catholic Church. And now we celebrate Halloween on the 31st and the Day of the Dead on the 1st, or is it the Day of the Souls on the 2nd? There's a couple of days that we celebrate at the end of this month, beginning of November. There you go, guys. There's a little bit of a history of Samhain. I invite you to please double check all the information, maybe in this book if you have it, or if you have Ronald Hutton, The Stations of the Sun. I invite you guys to actually do your own research because it's truly incredible. Now, since it's Samhain, I'm going to share with you guys this amazing powder for you guys to prepare. This is Samhain powder, and it's going to be a powder that you're going to utilize in a spell that I'm going to share with you guys before the night of the 31st. So now, let me share with you guys a powder that we're going to create to use on the night of Samhain. So this is going to be a Samhain powder. And we're going to need 4 things to prepare this awesome powder. The first thing that we're going to need is some cornstarch. We're going to be using 1 teaspoon of cornstarch. The second thing that we're going to need is some taragon. And we have this right now in our cupboard. Chances are you have this with your spices in your kitchen. The next thing we're going to be using is going to be cloves, very aromatic. I have lots of those in here. And last but not least, we're going to be using some sage. This is some powder sage that I have, so we're going to be using some sage as well. These are things that you can find in the supermarket right now. So let's get into it. So this is how it looks. We're going to put a teaspoon of each and we're going to grind together until it becomes a powder. Powder's going to look something like that, and I can tell you this smells amazing. Takes a little bit. It's very aromatic, guys. It smells really, really, really nice. If you have a coffee grinder, I tell you put it in your coffee grinder as well, so you can have a very, very fine powder. Now, what we're going to do with this powder is we're going to put it in our altar. We still have some 4 weeks away from Samhain. We're going to empower this powder with the energy of that spiritual threshold. So sacred. Make sure you empower it every day. Take a second of your day, put your hands up your powder and empower it, because on the night of Samhain, when we do our dumb supper, we're going to be utilizing this powder to do some spells. On the next video, I'm going to be talking a little bit about the dumb supper. Maybe we'll talk about the jack-o'-lantern, maybe not. And I'm going to give you some other recipes so you can already have prior to the night of Halloween, to the night of Samhain. Thank you so much for all your support. Thank you so much for all your love. If you have any question, please email me, layerofthewitch@yahoo.com, layerofthewitch@yahoo.com. Go visit my website, White Raven and Witches Lair, and please make sure to check the description of the video, because I'm going to be putting the ingredients for this and the books that I use for this video. Until next time, witches, you know what to do. Stay wicked. Bye.